to pray. There's no angels where I go, only pieces that are broken, scattered dreams across the floor. I'm home.
Hello everybody, this is Kira Show here. Now, if I sound annoyed and or angry, I've gotten to that point of anger where I'm calm. And sorry about not posting. Been a bit busy in real life and things have not been easy, since there is no time at all today to record. I basically might be getting fired, because they keep changing my schedule, and now I may not have any time to work, or at least make up for that. Not even that, I can't even go to HR to basically file a employee complaint, because they've changed my schedule so many times, not even tried to give me notices, and are basically trying to say that they can fire me for it. Along with the fact that, hey, you logged onto this person's information, even though you put in your own. You may think you put in your own, but that may have already been on screen. No, motherfucker, no. So now, I'm so mad, I just want to punch something. But instead, I spent a lot of time today trying to figure out the human resources number. That's not fun, because I haven't figured it out. So now I have to go back in tomorrow, even though I was supposed to go in tomorrow. I'm sorry, I needed that. I also keep popping the bones in my hands by forming fist. Oh, that one popped again. 3 in a row. There. Okay. Now then, let us begin. When we last left off, Deku had just met Toga and actually saved her from the bullies. Now, let us pick up about a week or so later. Toga, she would meet with Deku after essentially calling him one day, coming over to actually basically play on the weekend, if not try and hang out and see what they're doing. Now, she would meet Deku, and she would actually meet Deku's dad, as he was there. She would see him and she would somewhat fangirl as he was actually walking out the door. She would basically run up to him, asking him a lot of different questions and actually trying to get his autograph. Along with the fact that she'd ask him about that smoke coming off of him. Oh. Actually, this is part of my quirk. I can't really go into direct sunlight, so that is why I wear this. Oh, so just like Midoriya. Midoriya? Oh, yeah, I think you're actually that girl he saved last week, right? Yes, I am. Now, with that, Deku's dad would basically open the door and shout for Deku. Deku would walk out, and he would actually see Toga, as she watches him basically drinking. Well, basically, it's like a. This is going to sound probably very, very gross, but I want to say one of the best ways Deku can keep himself full is by mixing blood and protein powder together. Yes, that sounds very disgusting, but it's one of the only ways I can see Deku keeping himself full for a while. Now, that being said, Deku, he would see Toga, and she's asking him what he's drinking. He would just explain it, and she somewhat finds it interesting. Now, Todoroki would be coming by later, and they would all meet up, along with Momo actually tagging along. Deku would introduce Momo and Todoroki to Toga, and they're very confused at what her actual quirk is. Because he said it's got something to do with blood, but knowing her, it's not the best way to introduce it. She would just go on explaining more about it, and they find it actually pretty cool. Now, this is whenever Deku, he would just quite simply offer them to train in his dad's weight room, if not his mom's training room. Now, they would all basically walk in, and they're actually all confused as they see everything. Deku would just go on explaining that one day they're going to go to UA. In fact, they want to try and get as high as possible for the rankings. So, let's at least try and train and do our best. Now, everyone, well, they do appreciate that. Along with Deku, he would actually be teaching, if not trying to at least help Momo out on, well, firearms. Because Deku knows his mom has an old book lying around somewhere. In fact, he used to read it. He would basically walk into his room as he would walk out with 7 or 8 books on details about different firearms, if not even things that are very foreign. Now, with that, Deku and Todoroki, after they would work out for probably an hour or so, Deku would walk outside, and they're actually watching this. Now, Deku's been doing something very unorthodox, but the way he's been doing it, it's at least been helping him. Now, the reason why he actually does drink this special mix of protein powder and blood is because not only does it make him fuller longer, it actually helps boost his abilities a little bit, because his body is registering it as a lot more blood because of the empty space, if not because of the density it is in his body. Now, that being said, Deku, he would basically immediately just take off his entire suit. Basically, he was only wearing the overshirt, which is all he really needs, but he wears the undershirt as just in case, if not making sure. Basically, just to be safe. Now, he would just immediately throw this off as he would start smoking and actually starting to have his skin blister up a bit. As soon as he does that, he would basically immediately just jump backwards as he would go into the shade. He would somewhat heal as they're watching him do this. Todoroki would actually try and help Deku boost his abilities, if not his resistance to sunlight, because Deku somewhat has a weird theory. Essentially, if he can train his regeneration enough, he might be able to have his body repair itself while it's being destroyed by sunlight. Basically, like a layer of skin burn, I believe, should be the best way of saying it. But that's still not a very good example. Now, Deku, he would basically be doing this stuff as he also has Todoroki helping him. Momo is still studying up on these books, and Toga actually does talk to her and actually sit with her going over these too, as she would just say that books are good, but she prefers knives, which is somewhat creepy to her. She doesn't understand what she means, and she would just say that it's simple, it's not as complicated, going over a bit more details about it. It's easy to hide, it's light, and, well, it's not as shaky in your hands. Yes, it's, you can toss it around and your hands do shake, but once you basically know how it works and the fundamentals behind it, you can have a steady and easy hand with it. Now, Momo's still confused about that, but she just somewhat leaves that alone. Now, I want to say she would eventually walk outside and see what Todoroki and Deku are doing. As Todoroki would frequently just, to train his quirk, he does use his fire, but I want to say he'd only do like quick burst of it. But he would only catch Deku in these bursts. Now, with that, basically he's giving Deku at least first degree burns, and Deku would just heal constantly from it. Now, they would do this for about an hour until they would be stopped by some pros. Pros are confused at why they're using their quirks like this, and why that boy is just standing in the shade taking on fire. The pro would immediately run over, basically getting Deku out of the shade, but as soon as he carries Deku out, Deku just fights with him, pushing him away. He actually does force the pro about 10 feet away, which shocks him. You have a strength quirk? As Deku, he immediately just starts bursting up into flames. He would just run over as Todoroki would just shoot ice at him, basically covering him in it and actually having the fire, or his, basically him heating up, being cooled down. Now, he would just run back over into the shade as the hero is very confused. What? As Todoroki would just walk over, handing Deku his jacket. He would put it on and explain to the pro that this is rather hard to explain. It is very confusing to actually see. He's blasting with fire, but as soon as you come out of the shade, you light on fire? Vampire. Oh, I get it. But wait, what's your quirk then? Vampire. That still doesn't explain it. The hooded... bleh. The hooded hero, if not, I believe I said the cloaked hero and the Celine are my parents. Oh, that's right. He can't interact with direct sunlight. Sorry, kid, I'm not used to, well, this. It's rather unorthodox. Your quirk is... Yes, I know. No. So why are you even doing this? Trying to strengthen my regeneration. Regeneration? Well, yeah, because as Deku would just hold his hand out, as it begins to blister and actually start burning, he would immediately just pull it back in and actually just shake it off. Now, with that, let us go about a little bit further. A year down the line, Deku, he's actually being considered one of the top students, along with Toga, well, not Toga because she's not in their school, but along with Todoroki and Momo. These two actually being physically stronger and having their quirks be a lot better. Basically, it takes less fat lipids for Momo to create something in her body, and also, hang on. Basically, less fat lipids to create something. Now, with that, I do want to say that Deku, with him being physically stronger and having his quirk be strengthened over and over again from actually trying to train it, along with the fact that he is still young and his quirk does grow more, well, basically your potential gets stronger, but naturally that's over time. I want to say he would not outgrow the sunlight phase, but I want to say he gets somewhat close to it. With him at least being able to stand out in direct sunlight for at least a couple minutes. How many? It is somewhat hard to explain. Because I can see him going for 5, if not 10 minutes. Along with that, I do want to say he would stop wearing his gloves after a while, basically so he can train his quirk anytime he needs to. But he somewhat starts having trouble. I want to say after 10 minutes of being outside, he would begin smoking. Well, producing smoke. Now, with that, I want to say Deku would eventually stop having to wear this protective suit and just carry an umbrella with him. Because that at least allows him to train and actually just carry it around. Basically, that's just not cut to, but the start of Deku's, I believe the start of his middle school year would be where we're at, because the end of it would put him around, yeah, I believe so. And they're actually 11 years old. Now, let us cut to the actual start of his middle school, well, not middle school, but I'm gonna punch myself in the fucking head. The start of his 11th, not 11th, but whatever grade he's in, for being 11 years old. He actually does somewhat still wear, he does wear the long sleeves, but he does have them as protected layers. but they're just thinner, so he doesn't really need to wear the bulky suit anymore. It's just like he's wearing a regular undershirt. Now, he is actually wearing the school uniform, but he also does still carry, well, a regular hoodie and the netting. Or, yeah, I suggest you, well, yeah, I could see him just wearing the regular undershirt. Now, with that, he basically does wear that, but he also does have an umbrella. Now, people are somewhat confused as to who he is, as he just walks around with that thing all day. Oh, sorry about him. He's a bit emo. Well, yes, but no, really. He's a vampire. Huh? His quirk is vampire. He can't interact with sunlight. He drinks blood. All of that. As Deku, he just appears behind her. Actually, you're forgetting one thing. Super strength, increased senses, and the fangs. As Deku just holds out, well, basically pulls his mouth open. A lot of people are staring at him and asking, wait, aren't you that guy who. Yes, I'm the guy who went up in flames that one time in, well, elementary. Not what I was going to say, but I want to hear about that. I was going to say, aren't you that guy who was seen in the cafeteria basically chugging a container of blood? Yes, that's me. So, that's kind of strange. Well, not really. As the guy would turn around and he would see Toga. He's very confused as Toga would just say that it took a bit of time, but she's finally here. Basically, she had to tell her parents, and, well, over that time, they've known her to somewhat get less obsessed with blood. If not, she doesn't talk about it or do anything weird like that. So they basically transferred her into a different school, along with the fact that, well, I want to say Toga would be a lot smarter in this timeline. Now, that being said, they are all now in the same school. Now, during lunchtime, they're all talking and trying to figure things out about what they should be doing today. Because I want to say they'd all be workout partners with, well, leg day, arm day, ab day, and, well, basically biceps and triceps. Along with the fact that they would also pick a day to work their quirks, if not work on their quirks. Now, that being said, I also. Yeah, I do believe they would have quirk training in school, but I don't see them willingly let Deku just chug down blood as he burns alive. That is probably the weirdest sentence I've ever said today. Yes, I just said today. No. That being said, I want to say Deku, he does work on his physical strength, along with the fact that he wouldn't starve himself, but he has gotten better control of his hunger, if not his desire to feed. He doesn't get this weird urge whenever he sees someone's neck, knowing that there's blood. Now, that being said, I do want to say Toga, she would ask if she can copy Deku's quirk. If not, at least try and mimic his appearance to train her own. Because she's done so for Momo and Todoroki, but it's just kinda. Deku knowing about vampires from reading all this stuff about it and them existing in the real world, he doesn't think that's a good idea because, well, he might turn her into one. Now, I want to say doctors have done research about it, and, well, he can't turn people into vampires, sadly. I would do that for this what if, but, I could do that for a villain version of this, because someone did ask me for it. Now, I do want to say they would be essentially training, well, not training, but she would eventually get Deku to actually let her drink some of his blood, and she would mimic and copy his appearance. Now, But she does one thing that Deku can't. She doesn't burn in the sunlight, which Deku is actually somewhat impressed by. Now, that being said, they would continue training until one day, Todoroki discovers, well, not Todoroki, but, yeah, actually, I can leave that off here. I was going to say something, but I'm already about to go over 20 minutes, I believe. Now, that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I am sorry if this video has been all over the place. I have had a lot of problems at work, and I might be losing my job because of fucking scheduling issues. That's always fun. So I'm a bit stressed out. Anyways, hope you guys understand.